Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar. I'm Karen Griffin, Marketing Manager at LBMC Technology Solutions. Just a few housekeeping items before we get started today. All phone lines have been muted to eliminate any background noise. We will be taking questions throughout today's webinar and we'll answer them at the end of the presentation. You can submit your question via the questions panel in WebEx. We'll be also sending out a recording of the session in a few days' time. So at this time, I'd like to introduce you to my colleague, Mike Soul. Mike is the director of our OnBase content services team for LBMC Technology Solutions. Mike has been with LBMC for the past 5 years and has close to 20 years of IT leadership with both technology and insurance-based companies prior to that. He has served on the board of the Insurance User Vertical Group for OnBase and led the steering committee for process improvement and innovation for PICA and Professional Insurance Liability Group based outside of Nashville. So at this time, I'd like to introduce you to Mike, and I will turn it over to you.
Thanks, Karen. I really appreciate that. And thank each of you for joining us today. I want to start off by where this is the final session in our series around AP automation. And I want to start with a big thank you. I actually forgot to put this on the slide, but I would be remiss if I did not thank Karen and also Sarah Novak with our marketing group on facilitating and organizing and coordinating all of these sessions. They've been very, hopefully you found them to be very valuable, but a lot goes into the logistics and making sure things run smoothly, and so I want to thank them. I also want to make a big thank you to all of our solution presenters. Thank you to, we started this series with our LBMC teams who started the series with sharing some options within the systems you already own today and where you can get value with what you already have invested in. And Bill.com and Avid both presented some great solutions, not only on AP, but also on electronic payment. And then we'll focus on OnBase today. And I want to thank you as attendees who've attended the sessions throughout the series. We understand as we're talking about this topic of automation, AP automation, there's certainly some overlap in functionality across these solutions. And we tried to minimize duplicate content throughout as we've gone through it, and we'll do that. That's in our mindset again today. However, each of these solutions that we've brought to you also brings some unique benefit within each of them. So I just want to issue a reminder right at the moment, that our goal at LBMC is to work with you to understand your specific needs and, match those to the right solutions. We consider each of these solutions that we've been a part of the presentation as best in class, and each solution is designed to, enhance and complement your core solutions. And so we hope you've found this series to be beneficial along those lines. I want to thank you for the great questions. There's been some great questions throughout the series, and we encourage you to do that again today. Again, you can place those in the chat window to the right, and we'll touch on those at the conclusion of the presentation. I think finally, my final thought on this slide before we move on is, we're just thankful for our blessings. We know there's so many in need right now with things going on with the coronavirus. And one of the things I've been most excited about with this series is that we wanted a theme of feed information, feed you information, feed you as attendees, but then also feed those who are in need, because we know that's pretty significant right now. So we're happy to let you know that as a result of the fantastic attendance we've had throughout the series, plus just a little bit more that LBMC added on top of that, that we've been able to provide 4,000 meals through Second Harvest Food Bank of Middle Tennessee. And so, we're thankful for that. I think we've learned over the last several weeks and months is that we never need to take a single moment for granted. And so, I thank you for investing your time today. Hopefully you get a good return on that investment. And I put the link down here. If something strikes your heart and you want to also provide to those in need, Second Harvest Food Bank is a great opportunity to do that. With that, I want to go ahead and introduce OnBase, which is our topic for today. I would say our OnBase is, I would classify it as our most mature and comprehensive solution. They've been around for well over 20, almost 25 years. and they're very comprehensive, especially from a process automation perspective. They are certainly the industry recognized leaders in this topic, in this area. I encourage you to Google the word OnBase and Gartner, which Gartner and Forrester are both industry analysts. They do independent reviews of various solutions out on the market, and just Google that, and you will find that OnBase and Highland are in a pretty exclusive leader group for process automation and content management. So they offer not only a breadth of solution, but a breadth of experience as you have conversations around making your processes more efficient. Although, OnBase is used in some of the largest organizations in the country, and is certainly an enterprise level solution, LBMC has had a great partnership also for close to 20 years with Highland, and we're excited. Over the last couple of years, we've been able to bring a very targeted AP bundle solution to our mid-market plus customers. So bringing that enterprise capability at a price point and an implementation support perspective that fits our market with many of our customers as well. This allows you, and you're going to hear this theme as I kind of move through this a little bit, but it allows you to start with an area like AP, and some solutions that are out there focus just on AP. OnBase will bring you very similar functionality, but the uniqueness of it is a configuration-driven platform, so you can build custom solutions across your company and across your organization. So I want you to just take your mind for just a moment outside of AP, and then we'll come back and show you specifically some of the AP capabilities. But I want you to think kind of outside of AP automation, think into those other areas like HR, compliance, contract management, even internal system support. I think we've realized here recently, and John Parisi with Avid really did a great job walking through the importance and what the new challenges that we come across every day now, even with processing payments and processing checks. And now that most folks are remote, the real value to having a solution that can allow you to have a remote workforce and still continue to provide high-level support to your customers. And that was all around AP, and there's a lot of truth in that. But there's a lot of value in taking that concept and doing those efficiencies and giving those remote capabilities across your organization. And OnBase brings that to the conversation. LBMC, as I mentioned, has been a longtime partner of OnBase. One of the unique things LBMC also provides you in this group and the attendees that are on this group is we also have a long history with Microsoft and all the ERP solutions, Great Plains, Solomon, Business Central, those types of things, and also are an Intacct Premier partner. So as you talk about bringing solutions and having solutions work together, one of the great things that you get from LBMC is that we have experience in each. And so you can go to a single partner to bring these solutions together. And we do have some vertical focuses, as I've mentioned, especially with our AP bundle over the last couple of years. We've got some great case studies out there at the moment, out available on our website. I encourage you to look through those to just see the potential impact that an automation solution could have on your organization. And then also know that LBMC has some tools available to you. Certainly, whenever you're talking about, I don't like to talk about, these solutions as having a cost. It's really an investment, and you expect to get a return for your investment, as you should. And that's what these solutions truly bring to you. And so we have some tools available to you to help you put some input into various aspects of your business, and so customize it to your company, and then provide you what the financial impact could be at that point to your internal executive staff. So we have that available. So I kind of encourage you and just remind you again, the role that LBMC really wants to play is to help you navigate all of these aspects of the evaluation and not just this particular solution itself. With that being said, I've expanded your mind, and I kind of want to frame it like this, because we're going to go in and see some of the system now. And we'll spend most of our time on this top level here, which is around the AP automation and the benefits that you get. And there's a lot of similarities across the various solutions that we've shown you and solutions that are out on the market. But basically, to visualize it, it really falls into three categories. You've got the input. Now, the thing about the input side, as invoices come into your organization, those may come in via mail, they may be scanned in, multitude of ways, but the idea and the hope with these solutions, and all of them have some type of capability on this front end, is having that go straight through, as automated as possible. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later, but as John Parisi also pointed out, Avid Exchange offers kind of a unique outsourcing solution where they offer to outsource items that may not have gone straight through with a no-touch approach. And I think he mentioned something like 80% go through with OCR, and I think that's very accurate, but there's 20%. I'm going to talk about why. There's still a 20%, so you can either outsource that, or even if you handle it within your own organization, there's still tools and techniques that we can use to make that a very easy process and make it much more efficient to get the data into your organization and into your systems. Once it's in your systems, hopefully in a very automated fashion, you want it to go out to your approvers. Now coding, geocoding can take place sometimes within the finance team, sometimes it's taking place at the approvers, and we'll hit on some of that, but basically you want to go out, and this is probably where the vast majority of your users are in your systems. So you want systems that are easy to use and very simple to keep your training minimized on that. And then we'll finish up by coming back into the finance team and show some opportunities for visibility, some things where you can retrieve information, especially from within systems you use every day like Great Plains or Intacct. So we'll start with capture, and this is a screen that should look pretty familiar. Most of the solutions look very similar to this. The idea, again, is that things come in, you automatically can pull data off of the images with OCR. This is that 80% that we were talking about earlier that would go straight through. The good news is although there's 20% you may have to deal with, you have 80% that's going straight through. So why do you have this 20%? So I just want to show an example here, show a quick little demo. Invoices rarely come in very cleanly like you see in most demos. A lot of them have image quality. You can see here there's a stamp over top of the date field. There's various reasons that for some reason you might not be able to get a great match. So in this case, OnBase offers you kind of like a rope OCR where you highlight over that date field, and you'll notice on the left where it just filled in the one error that it received or it wasn't highly confident in, probably because of that stamp overlapping that date field and with this being a little darker image as it came in. So there's various reasons why you might have that 20% not go straight through. But even if that's the case, and especially when we are integrated to your existing systems, you can still very efficiently provide the metadata around these images as it flows through your system. So once that comes through, either via email, if you have an email at ap@yourcompany.com, OnBase is set up for those to come straight in. It would go through the auto recognition process, and then if there was anything that was not highly confident, it would go to this verifier step. And so that's what we just showed there. Once it's through there, could route to an approver. Now, sometimes it goes to finance first, but in this case, I'm going to keep it simple and just show you the approver app because, again, this is you want something that's easy to use, is very intuitive, keeps your training low for those users that are just in the system periodically and just need to approve invoices. Maybe they need to code them, things like that. And so I wanted to just give you a quick little view on what this looks like, but hopefully you're able to get in. It's very intuitive. You just start clicking around. You get to the invoices that you need to view. From here, you can see we can reject or approve the invoice. You can also see the actual line items, update them. From here, if you need to, you can also see where it is in the workflow cycle as it moves through. And again, a lot of the solutions you've seen have a similar type of approach, and we would keep the same there. In fact, actually, one of the things that's unique to OnBase, if you want to take a moment and you have your phones handy, you want this approver experience to work well within, say, a web browser, but also on your mobile device. So if you want to take a moment, open up your camera application and highlight that QHCR code down there on the bottom and open up your browser as you highlight that. For the next few minutes, you can just approve invoices to your heart's content and try the application out yourself, the mobile application. So feel free to do that if you have time today. So now I want to kind of turn our focus back to the finance team. And these are the folks, these are you all. that, you want visibility to the invoices and images and related documents as they come into the system. You want access to see where items are in the process. You want to see who has them. You want to be able to manage things like specifically maybe say vendors that have early pay discount opportunities or late pay fees, and you want visibility into where all of that's going so you can truly manage your process. And one of the unique things about OnBase is we can do that sitting behind the scenes. A strong philosophy of the OnBase solution is they want you to have access to this information from within systems that you use every day. So what we have here is Great Plains, Microsoft Great Plains, obviously, sorry. Let me go back. One click too far. One of the things that we want to do here is show you from within Great Plains how not only you can retrieve an image or related documents, things along those lines, but I also want to take your mindset back to that expanded capability. So the first thing we're going to do here is just bring back an image. These are all from quick clicks or keyword strokes that are configured by you. You can bring back the invoice itself. With a different quick click, you can open up and see related documents associated to this account. And all of those keystrokes, quick clicks are all defined by you. It's important to kind of know, well, as we kind of go here, I wanted to show one more thing, which is what we call folders. So you can also put this concept in a structured concept. So you can put it in like a shared drive type of a look. But the neat thing you can do with folders is not only see all of your items together, you can do templates and things that are missing, such as this credit memo right here. So all those quick retrieval, easy access could be on any screen in GP. Now I want to take for just a second and think about, let's pull data and let's take it one step further. Oh, I'm sorry. I got off a little bit on this. Scanning your invoices. We also want to make that as quick as possible. So we can pull data from GP, pull it up, quick click again, bring in the data, associated metadata, import the image, and then and now it's in OnBase, available for retrieval. So now I want to take you to the kind of next concept, which would be web forms and generating correspondence. In this case, again, we have access to the data in your systems, so we can populate those. These are all configurable web forms here that you can use to trigger other processes. We showed a possible PO initiation there. Could be any number of things. And here with the correspondence, maybe these are letters that are out on your share drive that you have out there stored. You can bring those into OnBase. You can pull in data again from your core system, and then enter some variable data that you saw right there. So in this case, we bring back the letter. You'll see here we've got a mixture of things that we've pulled in from GP, as well as we've incorporated some of the variable data that we entered right there. So the idea behind this is, again, quick access to information, expand that out instead of just retrieving documents. Maybe I can trigger other processes as a part of this. Since we've got such a tight integration with Great Plains, take advantage of that to just open your mind to some other concepts that you may not have seen before. You don't have to do those things, but I just wanted to share them so that you knew that they were available. I'll make mention here while we're here before we move on again is I'm showing this in Great Plains. I know we have actually some SL users as well as maybe some Business Central and Intacct users on the call as well. Similar type process for each of those systems. It would work in a very similar way. And just to give you a little look at that, here's where I'm going to go into Sage Intacct. We'll go into the Intacct screens here. Again, can be in any number of screens that you want. Once you pull that back, just the ability to pull back images very quickly from within Intacct. So whether you're in a GP, Intacct, any of those other systems, the user themselves don't even know that they're going into OnBase. So it's very tightly integrated, sits in behind the scenes as a part of the overall solution. Okay. From a finance team perspective, it's also important to have visibility into the process. And so with OnBase, you get reporting dashboards. Each of these reporting dashboards are interactive. So as you were to click on certain aspects of them, You can dive into the specific data. This can be a bar chart, pie graph, things like that. You can even do some geographical type setup to get to the information that you need. And so a couple of important things to understand about reporting dashboards. This can be information from within OnBase, or it can also be from within information from external systems, or maybe bring in data from a couple of external systems and to present that into a single view so that you know where things are in the process as you go. As you'll notice up at the top of this screen here too, you can take these dashboards, you can share them out, you can email them, you can even take some of these data grids and export them to Excel to then work with the data on your own if you would like. And again, this can be from information within OnBase or information from other systems. As we kind of come to as I'm wrapping up kind of the possibility, or at least this first pass of the presentation before we open up to questions, I want to kind of take your mindset again and expand it just for a second. We've shown kind of AP automation, how things can flow through the organization, but remember that OnBase is a configurable platform that can be designed to your processes. Now, one of the things LBMC will do in any of these situations is we actually want to, you hear all the time about solutions that are up in a matter of days, and that's great. And now, especially with cloud-born solutions, that's more of a possibility than it used to be. I kind of have this perspective of you want solutions up relatively quickly, but you want to be careful not to rush that conversation just to have something live. I refer to this often, and I've heard it referred to it as don't pave cow paths. There's a very important step that often happens, and this is the value that LBMC overall brings to you, is you want to have a conversation around your process. If you have a bad process, the last thing you want to do is make that bad process faster. And so there is a step with these solutions that I think you need to, it's important to take a step back and make sure that we've thought through it. And we've had lots of conversations with customers over time that started with their very specific process and then found that, why are we doing it that way? And maybe with a new solution, we can eliminate 5 or 6 different steps in this and make it much easier. Tell me if you've ever been in a situation where things have been built because of constraints around systems or things like that. So you've done some manual processes in your organization. This is a perfect opportunity to revisit those processes, and that's where LBMC can help. With that being said, OnBase offers you the opportunity to rapidly deploy solutions. And in some cases, they even give you some initial frameworks. But I don't want to lose the idea that you still then can customize it to unique things within your business. So just a couple of examples of that outside of AP. This is one around contract management, completely built on OnBase, complete workflow. Just like an invoice comes into the organization, you need an approver, and then you need it for storage, and you need visibility into the process. Contracts or any of these other processes are the same way. A contract comes in the door, somebody needs to review and approve it, and then it needs to be stored. So the value of OnBase compared to and what OnBase brings to the conversation here that some of the others haven't is, as a true document management solution, not only can you get a return on your AP process, but then you can take those efficiencies across your organization, which gets you even more ROI. You can take this to HR, employee onboarding, same thing. Employee application comes in, it's reviewed and approved and moved forward. You've got things as far as your employee reviews. All of these are solutions that have been built on top of the OnBase platform. Maybe you need to track, certain things as far as managing employees. Really cool thing I'll share with you here that's really relevant to today's time, and talk about how quickly things can be rolled out. With the situation with the coronavirus, Highland, I think it was in a week, maybe a little bit more than a week from when everything first came down and places started to shut down. Some of the folks at Highland went out and within a week's time, using the platform, actually built a tracking application to track employees and this was offered up to customers of ours, of OnBase customers, because you already have the platform, so then they could present you the framework and take advantage of what they had built for you. And so they put this out to where you could track employees and track who they had engaged with, things along those lines. So really it doesn't matter the process. OnBase gives you the opportunity to track that. And so it's kind of the real value it brings. you may have board or committee meetings and bringing documents together and presenting those to your board as part of your business process. So OnBase really opens all of this opportunity up. With that, Karen, I'll open it up for questions, but just a reminder that after the session today, you'll be getting an email from Karen from LBMC for a meal for Grubhub. And so hope you enjoy that meal on us. And thank you for being a part of the session today. Karen, do we have any questions?
Yeah, we have a couple, and just as a reminder, you can submit your questions through the Q&A panel or through chat. Our first question today, Mike, is with the integration to GPU showed, is that a custom coding LBMC has done, or is it Highland?
That is a great question. I don't believe I highlighted it during the session, but I'll circle back around. So one of the first questions is, well, which screens in GP can I open up this integration to? And the answer is just about any screen in GP. It is especially for GP, it is a codeless integration. So no support on that front. It is a piece of OnBase called Application Enabler. And that Application Enabler is used not only for GP, or we could use it for, for SL or Business Central or any of those applications. Think of systems outside of even ERP. And it's kind of a glorified screen scrape type of technology. There's a little more to it, but the idea is a point and click. You look at a screen, point and click, you tell the fields that you want to pull in and the data that you want to pull in. And then it has another point and click to say, do I want to retrieve an image? Do I want to retrieve related documents? Do I want to retrieve that folder, so I can have a template? Do I want to generate, do I want to launch a web form? So all of that is just point and click configurable, no custom coding to that whatsoever. Now, when we talk about data feeds to the system, that varies depending on the system. Once it's gone through the process and we've got this data and we want to make sure that it's sent over to the ERP, whatever ERP system it is for payment processing, things like Smart Connect help make that connection possible. So as we go through that, we would just evaluate with the customer on what's important to have there as part of that back-end data integration. As far as retrieving the documents, actually no code involved with that at all, so pretty helpful.
Okay, thank you. One more question is, can you share pricing info?
Yeah, I can share pricing info. A couple things on that, I guess. So the pricing in general is pretty simple. It's just based on a user. There's no volume. So one of the unique pricing approaches with OnBase is that it's not a per page, it's not a per invoice type of an approach. It's just the number of users that are in the system, and those are either your core users, which or you've got what we call light users for that approver. So approver pricing. So for anybody that's doing approver, it's $140 a year. For your internal system users, OnBase is available either on-premise or on the cloud. So there's some variation on that, but in general terms, it's either a little south of 1,000 per user, a little north of 1,000 for those internal core users. Remember, the vast majority of your users are your approvers. So that's the 140 price point, but then it just depends if it's on cloud or on premise, and we can help work through that depending on the client's needs.
Okay, I don't see any other questions at this time. Oh wait, here they come. I say that and then they come in. One more here. How do the invoices get to the correct approvers? Will finance have to open each invoice and send it?
No, not at all. In fact, one of the things, there's this idea, you may hear the term of intelligent automation. And so I guess there's two levels to the answer. OnBase is unique. A lot of AP solutions that you see out there will have what they call workflow. And so that's an invoice that comes in, it opens it up, and you've got a little drop down, and you can send that invoice to Joe or Bill or whoever, and there's a lot of internal knowledge. With OnBase, you actually set it up to automatically do that in the system. And so that can be criteria to You can set that up for a particular vendor to go to a designated approver automatically. You can have that based on a threshold of limits. You can even have specific workflows. I mentioned the late pay penalties or the early pay discount opportunities. If there's a vendor that has a scenario like that, you can even prioritize those invoices. So when it comes in, the invoice comes in and it automatically identifies that it's Staples or something like that. It'll identify Staples, and if they've got an early pay discount or somebody we need to accelerate through the process, then you can have that skip all the other ones. And so OnBase handles all of that intelligently based on the data that it either pulled off of the invoice, or since we're integrated with the ERP system, pulling in data from, you can use your vendor card, things like that to help. You can even automate some of the GL coding as a part of that process. So yeah, I would say from an OnBase perspective, we would sit down, have you talk about any of those scenarios. And then I don't have it right in front of me, but I can, if somebody's got that question or we know who sent it, I can follow up or even send it out as an additional recording when we send out the WebEx, show you the workflow interface. Again, simple point and click to where you can designate those rules. And so, and then have it automatically. We don't really want to encourage it stopping any more than it needs to through the process.
Okay, I think that's all of our questions today. Thank you, Mike. As a reminder, we'll be sending out today's presentation in a couple days. I'll be sending out the Grubhub gift card, as Mike mentioned, so you can enjoy some lunch on us in Highland today. We appreciate everyone joining us today, and we're delighted that we can contribute to Second Harvest Food Bank on your behalf. Thanks again for attending today's presentation, and we hope you have a great day. Thanks, everybody.